We have the Dark Trooper. I'm excited for this one. This was one of my favorite guys from Mandalorian, robots, Star Wars. It's gonna be fun. Alright, let's open this one up and see what we have. So here's the complete build. This is the third and last build that I did, as it came last chronologically. This one actually, when I looked up all three helmets that I thought I might be getting, this was actually a surprise. I did not expect this until it opened it up. And then when I opened it up, I was kind of happy with it, and then kind of not that into it. It looked a bit weird and odd from the original box art, as well as you can see it's super study on the top, which isn't necessarily my favorite aspect of it. And then having this built the third with the other two, I didn't have really high hopes for this. But when I actually built it, it was actually really, really nice. The techniques here are slightly different than the other two in terms of how it's constructed. If you imagine, the Mandalorian had some nice connection in terms of angles. The Luke's helmet has just some nice usage of parts to get that NPU, as well as some nice techniques to get the curve. But this one had the most interesting building, and then not really sure how it's going to fit, and then clicking it in, and okay, now you see it, and that's really neat. The face section is actually really great, as well as these two panels, which are hooked on by ball joints. So there's a bit of movements, but once you put it in place, it actually looks really good. Unlike the other two, there's actually a lot more detail going on here than you expected. If you actually look here, there's actually stuff down here. Now, I know it's part of the helmet cut is slightly different, which exposes that. But if you imagine if this is sitting on the wall normally, it's actually not that visible. And I actually really like that. Look at the box, you don't see some of these things. The lower detail here actually is really nice. As someone that builds spaceships that you don't really see the bottom to, or areas that you just have these little greeble section, like, I actually really appreciated that versus the other helmets, the bottoms are essentially non-existent. So while the Rebel helmet is probably the one that I would like to maybe keep the most as itself, versus the Mando is probably the one I would buy for pieces, this is the actual one that I would actually mod the most, in that I kind of really like this and would actually want to actually extend and build the torso, because they've already started a bit of the work, and it's a really nice lower bottom section. Again, the top section, I'm not a huge fan of the studs, but I could do this in tile texture, as well as some bow slopes that allow me to curve this out, and then I could actually build the bottom half, or the chest, and maybe that even further, depending on how much I want to do it, and kind of expose a lot more of this nice detail and such. So this one actually has a lot of potential, and I'm kind of thinking I do want to extend it, just because as I built it, I really like this. Like, of all the three, this was the one where I really wasn't sure what I was building at times, and then once you put it on, or once you saw how it all worked, it was really neat. The other ones were quite obvious in terms of what it was trying to accomplish and how it was going to do, even some of the more advanced techniques in the Luke Skywalker. But this one was, wow, I had a general idea, but how it all fit together exactly, it wasn't kind of obvious, and you really did like and appreciate how this all came together. So of the three, I would actually think, I can't tell which one's my favorite. They're great for each one has their own reasons why I like it, and I think all of them have been really fun, and I think I'm going to actually start buying more of these just because they're fun to build, and they're pretty good parts packed, which is really the main reason why I buy Lego sets. So if you like this, check out my review on the other two helmets on the RebelLUG channel, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Cheers!